Welcome. For those of you that have never been to one of these before, this is Office Hours by Alternative Payments. Later on, I'm going to take like a minute, 2 minutes to tell you about alternative payments. But truly, this whole thing, I have twisted Harrison's arm, and he is going to teach you guys some really cool stuff today, all about his process he's developed for using AI to do marketing and lead generation. That's right. Right, Harrison?
That's it. We're doing marketing, lead generation, get your messages dialed in. We got a lot to cover in a little bit of time.
Now, normally these webinars are 60 minutes. Harrison was under the impression it's 90. So there is a very good chance we go over today. So just keep that in mind. We will record this. It'll be emailed out to you guys tomorrow is always the plan, the next day. So don't sweat if you have to bounce early because meetings. I get it. With that said, we're gonna go through Harrison's presentation. At the end, we'll do an AMA. So if you guys stick around to the end, you can ask him all sorts of questions. However, during the presentation, I will gladly cut him off and ask some of your questions in real time. So don't be shy. The chat is open. It's for you guys to use. Same with the Q&A. If you are the kind of person that likes to keep the Q&A separate, I'm here for it. I will gladly check that for you guys. And then finally, at the end of the webinar or whenever you close Zoom, it's going to ask you how we did. And it's like a 2-question survey. And just for answering the survey, it'll take you less than a minute. You will be entered for a chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card. No strings. It's just, we want to know, here at Alternative Payments, we want to know how you like the content and the presenter and the flow and everything. So let us know. All right. With that said, Harrison.
Cool, man. I also monitor the chat. I'm fairly used to this kind of a style of teaching to a large degree. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is nice. It's an us. It's not a me thing. I like this. This is very nice. So thank you for being here. Some of you may or may not be MSP heroes. Some of you may be longtime subscribers to the channel. I think most people have probably found me on YouTube. Either way, thanks. Truly, I think you being here with us today is one going to help your business. I can guarantee that. If it doesn't, please let me know, because I will fix everything I possibly can to make sure that it helps your MSP business. But 2, you are yes, it'll be recorded afterwards. My goal is to help you grow wherever you are in starting an MSP. Actually, just today's video, I actually touch on some of these things, and you're going to walk away with value if you're just starting out, established. Even if you're ready to sell, it'll help you get some more leads in the door to increase your value here. So this is going to be the MSP marketing playbook. Like Steve said, I have a ton of content to cram into a short period of time, but my goal is to just have you guys walk away with some stuff. Steve, I assume my screen is sharing. Yeah, my screen is sharing.
Good,
cool.
Man.
Love it. So who am I? I think most people know, but if you don't, my name is Harrison Barron. I'm a sales marketing obsessed strategist. I've worked in MSPs. I've worked around MSPs. I speak the language. I get it. RMM, PSA, WAN, LANs, gigabit switches. I understand it. It's all in my wheelhouse. But I built a career helping IT teams now sell their IT services, helping you charge more money and helping you generate more leads and being able to speak correctly to your customers. I guess I'm a creator, I'm a coach. And I learned all this because I've been through the trials and tribulations, the long hours, the weekend or evening calls of, even though I was in sales, people were still calling me saying, hey, I need somebody, it's an emergency, whatever it may be. We have a Discord community at Growth Generators. You can visit our website, growth-generators.com. Under resources, you can go over and there's a whole Discord community there. You could jump in there. If you're not already, I do pop in there. I try to answer questions in there as well. But my goal today is just help you guys grow as much as possible. We have 230 people in our private membership, and that's consistently growing. It's actually a little over that now. We've spoken at national events, which is actually how I found out about alternative payments in Vegas of last year. I've helped an MSP exit for 8 figures. I've helped now at least a couple MSPs, I want to say like 6 or 7 now exit at the 7-figure mark. And our training is actually used by vendors. I've had vendors ask me, hey, can we, use your training, or can we, implement your YouTube videos or watch your YouTube videos and share them as, our material for training employees? Sure. I'm pretty cool with that. We have 300,000 views on YouTube. But this whole thing, regardless of where you're at, is to help you generate more leads and close more sales so you can scale your MSP. That is the only thing that I want you to walk away from today. This webinar is for you if, and only if, I don't want to waste your time because it's your most valuable asset. You run an MSP and you want more predictable clients. If you are great at tech, but you struggle with sales and marketing, if you have wasted time or money, right? I got my fake money right here for the subscribers. If you wasted time or money on things that truly just don't work and you want a clear plan that you can actually follow. I have this conversation all the time, and I try to teach this as often as I can to my membership because it's the most impactful knowledge. And I don't share any of this on YouTube, by the way. This is, if you're like, oh, I could watch this on YouTube, I've never shared any of this. It'll be available, I guess, tomorrow or when Steve releases it, but that's it. You're the first people to see it. By the end of the session, you're going to have an idea of who your ideal client profile is, your ICP, your dream customer that could pay you all the money you want. You're going to have a clear packaged offer that you can actually sell. You're going to learn how to create a lead magnet that is going to get your prospects to enter into the lead phase. I'm also going to give you some quick tips on how to pick your marketing channels and give you a quick little system here, and also show you the 3 metrics that matter to your success. It's a lot of material in a short period of time. But let's talk about why most MSPs fail, because I'm sure we've all heard of the story of so-and-so's MSP is failing. They're not making money. I think statistically, I want to say it's like 30 or 40 MSPs, Steve, you might know off the top of your head, are not profitable.
I thought it was higher than that, but you might be right.
Even worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on the low and he's going on the higher end. So it's probably worse than I think it actually is. I try to give the benefit of the doubt. Being good at tech just isn't enough, right? It's great for getting your dream job. 6-figure, maybe heck 7-figure salary, right? We're deep into the 6 figures. You're living a great life. But that's great for a job. It's not great for running your own MSP. You can't just be good. You got to be great. And most people, right? I was an Eagle Scout for most of my life. If you plan to fail, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Most people don't have a plan. They don't clearly understand what they have to offer. There's no consistency. And the absolute worst thing in the world is there's no follow-up. You have to go through all of those, right? If you have a great plan, but you don't have anything great to offer, you're going to fail. If you have a great plan, you have a great offer, but you only make one cold call to one company, or you meet one person one time, you're not going to sell them, right? And if you're not consistently following up with them, I can promise you people aren't going to buy. And a little challenge I like to do is just take a second. All of you, I'm sure you're either hopefully not driving and watching this, but if you're sitting at your desk, wherever you are, if you are listening to this while you're driving, just look around your office. How many logos do you see? I'm in my office and it's fairly finished, but I could see silica beads. I can see bands for money. It's pretty light here. I could see a Samsung logo. I could see a Sony logo. I could see the lights, right? And this is just for my desk. My desk at home is much more of a disaster, but we don't talk about that, right? It's got logos everywhere. Everybody is trying to compete for attention. So if you think that you're going to go up the bat one time, crush a homer, and I don't even like baseball, right? You are crazy. You can't do it. It just doesn't work, and that's what we're here for today. So what makes this webinar a little bit different? This is a playbook building session. I hope that you are sitting behind a computer because I am going to teach you what to do. You can do this in real time to make sure you get the best results. I don't want to just leave you with a dream and say, good luck figuring it out like some other people do. And I'm not going to name names, and they're out on YouTube and wherever else. I want you to take action. If there's anything that you do, just one part of this will make your MSP infinitely better. We're going to do this in real time with practical value that you can use the moment this ends. First is we have to talk about the mind shift. Marketing is a system, right? We have systems. We have active directories. We have firewalls, and we understand how networking systems work. It is the exact same thing when it comes to sales and marketing. And if you think otherwise, that you could just throw spaghetti at the wall, you might find some success. But I'm not here to show you some success. I'm trying to get you to be very successful, right? Marketing is a system. It's not magic. It's not made up. Somebody didn't get lucky with marketing. It's a system. You have to make sure it's clear and you avoid complexity. I was just at a training recently, and at this training, it was actually a copywriting training. I actually went to it partially for this, to learn. And one of the things he talks about is, I always tell people, you want to write your content in a 9th to 10th grade reading level. And I got to tell you, my mind was blown when he said, hey, you should write in a 5th and 6th grade reading level. He goes, it is so easy for people to understand what you do, how you do it, and what you have to offer. So if you're writing complex words on your website, regardless of whether or not they're tech jargon or for your client, we got to get rid of them. We want to make it as easy as possible across the board. And you don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where it actually matters, right? So think about this. If someone gave you 50 leads tomorrow, would you know exactly what to do with this?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Fred, I'm glad you're learning already, brother. Right? Yeah. Now, Steve might know, but the vast majority of people, if I said, here's a stack of leads, I'm going to use a stack of money here. Here's a stack of leads, right?
Is that real money?
No. God, no. All right. I'm crazy. I'm not that crazy. It is, it is, motion picture money, by the way. I don't just keep $50,000 laying around. It'd be nice, but I don't. It's important to understand, like, most people don't know truly what to do with 50 leads. Even if they have them, they're unsure if they should make the call, they should send them an email, they should follow up. Depending on where those leads come from, they might even be nervous to send an email or pick up the phone or even text the person, right? Smoke signals may work, but I think that's a old tradition that we got rid of a while ago. We have to make sure that we know what to do with those leads, right? Your MSP marketing playbook roadmap is these 6 things is what we're going to cover in today's session. We're going to define our ideal client. We're going to create a basic package and position your offer correctly, create a simple lead magnet that you can build on your own, but I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to choose 3 marketing channels. We're going to automate this and track those metrics. I'm going to get to as much as I possibly can today.
So before we do that, I'm genuinely curious. Show of hands. Who here feels like you have, I'm not going to say a perfect, but who here feels like you have a decent marketing playbook today? You can use the raise hand feature. I promise I won't call on anybody. I'm just curious how many people say they think they do. And what I mean by you think you have a decent marketing playbook is you're actively marketing and you're generating leads. I'm not asking if you understand what MQL is and all these fancy terms, okay? Just like Harrison said, let's skip all the fancy jargon for the marketing speak. I'm skipping all the jargon right now. I got one person with a hand raised. I got 55 people, 54 people who think they don't have a good marketing plan. 3 people now who do. It's really interesting, man. I see some hands are still going up, but I don't think it's going to get past half a dozen.
I would agree. And by the way, it's being recorded. I'll make sure Steve has the slides. But more importantly than this is, what is a lead, right? Because I have here, not all clients are good clients. What is a lead? A lead is somebody that is capable and potentially willing to do business with you, right? Mm-hmm. So what do I mean by capable? They have the time, the energy, and the money to invest in paying your company to actually work with them. That's what a lead is. If it's a one-person rinky dink, we were just talking about 10 by 100 switches. If they got that, 2-3 person company and they're barely scraping by, not a lead. That's what a lead is. A lead is somebody that is capable of hiring you and your company at what you charge, has the time to dedicate it and the energy, meaning they can actually do it and help you implement it, because an onboarding process is a mutual thing. Yes, MSPs take the brunt of it, but the client does have to do some things. They have to find out if there's any passwords, get you access to certain things, whatever it may be. But this is, and I'm glad you need a marketing plan. That's what we're here for today. So not all clients are good clients, right? We just talked about that one-man band. Fun fact, a couple of years ago when I was selling MSP services full-time, I walked into a extremely well-known book publisher. I mean, massive company. It might have been my largest deal at the time, if it actually ended up even remotely being a deal. But here's the thing. I walked in there, I'm meeting the guy, I'm looking around. They got slightly older computers, the newer series, or the older series of Dell Optiplexes. And I go, cool, man. Like, this is great. Everyone's got their little cubicles. You could tell it's been around for a long time. I said, hey, can I see the server room? He goes, absolutely. Right. And I kid you not, there was a stack of boxes from the floor to the ceiling, all perfect square boxes. And I look at that server and I go, I've been in a lot of different environments, right? I am on the younger side, but I've been in a lot of different environments. I go, what server is that? I don't recognize it. It's not a Dell. It's not an HP. He goes, that's a DOS server. I go,
DOS?
okay. Yeah, DOS. I go,
like DOS, DOS? Microsoft
yeah, like,
DOS?
Yes.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Okay.
It's a Packard Bell.
Out of my knowledge realm, right? I go, what are all the boxes for? He goes, most of my job now consists of searching eBay and other sources to find unused hard drives. So if one fails, I can swap them out in time to make sure that they keep working. I was blown away. So not all clients are good clients. Not all prospects are good prospects. You have to, what?
I don't even have words.
Try being there with the thing. And once again, if I told you the name of this company, which I will not bury anybody, but if I told you the name of this company, you'd be like, there's no way. And if I wasn't standing in that room looking at it with him, partially dying inside of laughter and fear, because it's not a matter of if, this is absolutely going to be a matter of when. Ooh, terrifying thing, right? But some clients fuel profit, others drain time and energy. But your ICP, your ideal customer profile filter of who say yes to you, right? We want to make sure the clients say yes. Some clients are just not good fits, or prospects are not good fits. Other ones, you have to really determine if they're a good fit for you. Your ideal customer profile. So let's talk about your ICP. This is arguably one of the most important things that I talk about, and I feel like not enough people actually go through. You need an ICP. An ideal customer profile.
Not Insane Clown Posse?
Nope, not for today's thing. But great music if you like that kind of stuff.
If you like that kind of stuff, yeah.
Hey, if you like that kind of stuff, it's all for it, right? We need to know what industry they're in, the company size, key pain points, decision maker roles. And if you want to take it even further, who's that dream person in there, right? You need a buyer persona. Whatever that person is, I say it's the imaginary person. You have to know who's your ICP. Well, we're going through that right now. You're going to learn to sell cybersecurity, because not everybody, right? An accountant, a one-person accountant, is probably not a great customer, and who loves going on the internet and looking at things that they shouldn't be looking at on a computer that is full of customer information, right? I'll leave it as broad as that. You guys can fill in the circles, right? So if you want, we do have a buyer persona worksheet. I'm going to throw it up here. This is not supposed to be a shameless plug, but if you want to go grab a buyer persona worksheet, it's completely free on our website, growth-generators.com/resources. I'll put it in chat for you guys so you can go through it together with me. But we need to know who this imaginary person is. We need a fake name, Steve Taylor. Right? Maybe it's a different Steve Taylor.
That sounds fake to me.
It very well could be, right? We need an age range. What are they? What industries? Right. Are they male, female, non-binary? Prefer not to say. City, state, county, job title. What is their role? The person right, that can pay you all of the money that you want to build your MSP. And this starts by thinking about who your ICP is, what industry are they in, finance, specifically going even a little bit deeper, wealth managers, registered independent advisors, manufacturing companies, distribution companies, logistical companies. What are the problems that that type of person has? Because they're going to have a problem at some point or another. And that is what you have to figure out. Do the problems that they actually have with technology, is that something that you could figure out across the board? And who's their decision maker?
Mhm.
This is where the buyer persona comes in. We want to go a little bit deeper. Do they have the budget, the buying power? What are their demographics? I've never actually done this on YouTube before, but I'm going to go even deeper, right? Behaviors and habits. What pain points and challenges are they dealing with? What motivates them to make a buying decision, right? When we have a leak in our house, there's no time. It's, hey, is it coming from the roof or is it coming from the plumbing? And
Mhm.
if next phone call is typically to a roofer or a plumber to come fix that problem, because we want to address it. What pain points are they having with technology? Is it cybersecurity? Is it compliance, right? Is it just downtime, outdated systems? Is it not knowing, or a hodgepodge of softwares that don't work together or hardwares that don't work together? What do they
But
want out of it?
but this while this is a good exercise, here's a challenge that I bet Calvin and many other people are having. Um, all right, so let's say it's a brand new MSP. You don't have any clients yet. Like you just got the paperwork from the Secretary of State yesterday and you're ready to move forward and build your MSP. I don't have any clients, right? So if I don't have clients,
How
how
can
do
you
I
figure this out?
know? Huh?
How can you figure this out?
Yeah, how do I know what industry I want to serve? What their age or gender or binaryism is or any
Great,
of that?
great question, right? So my always first recommendation, what industry are you the most curious about? Or do you know the most about, right? If you know a lot about an industry, that's probably the best place to start. If you're very curious and naturally curious about an industry, that's the best place to start. The third best place to start is figure out what your skills or what skills you have fit with what type of an industry. So what I mean by this is, if you have knowledge of, I don't know, FDIC requirements, right? I think that's banking.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have knowledge in that. I would potentially say, like, go look at banks and adjacent industries, whether that's banking, private equity companies, because they definitely need an MSP. Sometimes there's compliance risks involved. So maybe it's financial advisors or wealth managers, whatever you want to call them. But if you have an industry specific knowledge, because most people here probably came from some kind of an industry. If you didn't come from an industry and you're a natural sales guy and you're starting your MSP, congratulations to you. What industry are you the most curious about? Because we're going to take this and we're going to want to learn more about those industries, right? If it's
Mhm.
dental offices, I use dentists all the time because everyone hopefully has teeth, right? You have Dentrix as one of the number ones, EagleSoft as another one, Curve Dental, right? And the people are always buying, but those are the three main ones. If you're going into
Yeah.
law, you're going to naturally learn, or going after law firms, you're naturally going to learn what law firms are using. Is it
Right.
Clio? Is it Practice Panther? I think it's called MyBook is the third one.
You're gonna find the law firms and adjacent businesses who use LexisNexis.
100%.
Um, and then I mean I've said it before on past office hours sessions. I actually targeted funeral homes with my MSP. For those of you that don't know, I ran an MSP. Now I do marketing. I know it's weird. We can talk about it some other time. But with my MSP, I picked up a funeral home for a client. It was a referral from a guy who I met. It was a weird situation, but then he just kept referring me businesses because he wanted to retire. Like he saw I did a great job for the one, and then he just kept giving me more. And at one point I had, like, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 funeral homes that I'm managing all at once. Most of them are all using the same software. Um, and then you start to, like, understand, and I think this is going to answer your question for us. I hope I said that correctly. Um, when you focus on a specific industry, whether it's funeral homes or banking or lawyers or whatever, you start to become like an expert, not just in how to set up networks and do VLANs and firewalls and everything else, or how to configure Microsoft 365 so that way it meets or exceeds all of NIST or CIS, depending on if you're using a security framework. But you're also going to start to learn those line of business applications. You're going to start to make connections at these companies that you're working with, like LexisNexis or Director's Assistant or wherever, and now you're able to start charging more because you're like the guy in the area. Like I'm the funeral home IT guy. Nobody else does it as good as
100%.
me. So that's why you want to do industry specific. And I see he said he's focused primarily on oil gas sector, but when the oil prices are down, we take a hit as well. So I always think of it as what businesses aren't going anywhere. There's healthcare, hospitals. Like I don't, and here's where my mind goes. Like not all healthcare is good. I don't. Maybe you have a different opinion, Harrison. But like, for example, um, the ones that do like the Botox and stuff. No offense
Oh,
to people
yeah,
that
yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Like, but if the economy's down, fewer people are doing those elective, completely optional, usually not covered by insurance types of services, right? And if fewer people are doing those services, then you're going to have clients who are going out of business, reducing their contract with you, et cetera, et cetera. So, think about businesses that, there's always money and you can always count on death and taxes. I think that's what they say, right? So funeral homes and CPA firms, those were the two things that I thought after a while, you can always count on death and taxes. So those were the two industries that I targeted. But like Harrison said, man, pick an industry that you are interested in, fascinated in. I was fascinated in fintech, Darren. I've been using what they call neobanks for long before I joined alternative payments. And now that I'm in fintech, I'm like exploring all this stuff even more. And Darren, I can answer your question later if you stick around when we do AMA if there's time.
Yeah. And the other part of this too that I will that I'll also add is think about it, right? We're all humans, I hope, right?
For the most part.
When you get kind of sick, where do you go? Physician, right? General physician, family physician, whatever it is. You go to a generalist. But if we took a look at the generalist versus brain surgeon,
Yeah,
who's making more money, right?
exactly. You go to your primary care physician, and what are they going to do? They're going to refer you to a specialist because they don't know everything, right?
100%. And I'm not bashing anybody. If you don't have an industry yet, this is not to bash anybody, but you know who's great at doing general computer support? They have a big blue building with a little tag on it that's
Yeah,
yellow.
Circuit City, right?
I have a sticker on my laptop that actually says, if broken, call Circuit City.
Yes.
But it's true, right? We want to be specialists. I have somebody here. I actually specifically invited him to come down. His name is Mike Beebe. He's in the chat floating around. I just went up to Maine with him and helped him with a dental conference. Right? It was pretty cool. He's now niching down more and more, specifically in dentists. His company name is Ecom IT. And the coolest part about that, and the reason why I say that, is we were just messaging before, and he just closed a $1,500 deal in 15 minutes. $1,500 MRR, monthly recurring revenue, in 15 minutes, because he's a specialist in dentists and a dental office in Maine. Mike, I hope you're okay with me just mentioning all this, but a dental office in Texas said, "Hey, we know that you're a specialist in the industry. I would love to work with you." 15 minutes. He's going to make more than this every year, right? This is 10,000. So that's why it helps to be a specialist. You can absolutely try to market to everybody. And I think a lot of that's going to click soon once I start going into the marketing, because every time you have a new type of customer that you want to work with, you basically have to follow this entire slide deck all over again. So if you want to go after 2 industries, it's twice the work. If 3 industries, 3 times the work, so on and so forth. On top of that, you as a person, do you really want to learn that many industries? Probably, I would hope not. But if you're that interested, then you know what? More power to you. Think about this, right? You don't find your ideal clients. You decide who they are, right? Your ideal client isn't coming, knocking on your door and saying, hey, I want to do business with you. They're not. If you guys were getting leads all day long, I can almost promise you, you wouldn't be here unless you're supporting me or you're supporting Steve by being here. The reason you're here is because you don't have people pounding on your door to do business with you. But the coolest part is you can decide who your customer, who your dream customer actually is. But we have to identify who that person is with that buyer persona and knowing who we want to go after with your ICP. Why most MSPs don't convert across the board. And if you're looking at your website and you have some of these things, I apologize. I might make you a little upset. You go with the problem of generic IT guy positioning. I actually made it on a video today. I saw one company. We've been in business for 20 years, or we have 20 years of experience. Hoorah. And okay, I have 33 years of experience growing from a baby.
Right.
Cool.
I thought you were way older. No, I'm kidding.
33.
I thought you were on 28.
I know. I need some Miracle Grow on that thing. But we have to position ourselves. We have to position as the solution, right? We have to know exactly who we want to go after. And how do we position ourselves as an expert? When you go get a brain surgeon, you're probably taking a recommendation, and hopefully nobody here ever needs brain surgery, but at some point you're going to need a specialist for whatever ailment you may have. You're going to do a little bit of homework. You're going to check out the reviews. What does their experience look like? I bet you when you go and look for your law firm, you probably saw, hey, do they have experience with working with MSPs? Or if you're getting divorced, are they a divorce lawyer? You don't go to your general lawyer to get a divorce. Or if you're getting married, you don't go and go to your general lawyer and get a prenup, right? You have to make sure that you know who it is and the problem that you're actually solving. Most websites and MSPs speak with feature-heavy jargon, beamforming technology, MIMO, when, whatever ports. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? We control all the ports. We're not a shipping yard. It's full of jargon. We have to make sure that we position ourselves as we know what pain they're actually having, and then we can frame the solution as why we are the best thing out there. If I didn't do a great job at telling you guys that I help MSPs and this webinar is going to help you, we wouldn't have 65 people on the call. Just wouldn't have. I probably wouldn't even be invited here, right? And the worst thing in the world is not knowing what happens. Whatever surgery it is, they always tell you, hey, you have to sign a waiver. I got knee surgery once. You have to sign a waiver that says there is a chance of you dying, right? The worst thing in the world is nobody wants an unclear outcome. They want client-focused benefits. Here's what can actually happen to you if this works out, or why working with us is the best thing in the world. And I'm going to the most extremes of the medical stuff, but I want to make sure I really drive home a point here. 33 years and I can't grow hair. Yes. It's the worst thing in the world. I'm just kidding. I actually really enjoy not having hair. It's way less work. But this is a simple formula that you can use, right? You can take this, you can plug this in a ChatGPT. You can go through and figure out the simple formula. We help specific ICP, whatever it may be, right? If you're doing oil wells, and I apologize, I don't know much about oil other than it goes through a refinery, right? We help refineries in Texas solve, we help oil companies in Texas by preventing their machines from going down. I'm making things up because I don't know the industry all that well. But I have a couple examples here, right? With your offer at the end. We help law firms with 10 to 50 employees, or we help law firms, growing law firms in Charlotte, North Carolina, eliminate downtime and security risks using our 24 managed IT support, right? Or WISP. Well, you're not going to use the word WISP, but with your compliance. We help medical practices protect patient data and meet HIPAA compliance using our managed security and cloud solutions. Obviously, you want to doctor that up a little bit, but I'm hoping that the point is there, that you can understand and say, hey, I know exactly who I'm trying to help, the problem that I solve, and the solution is my offering to fix that problem. Yes, you have to be more specialized in this. So we have ICP, clearly defined group, a law firm, medical practices. I'd avoid SMBs, but depending on if you want to be a local MSP, you can be a local MSP and do an SMB, and you're the person for that area. And nonprofits is another example. You can use anything in here, but I'm just trying to give some examples. You have the pain that they're dealing with, right? The thorn in their side that's just drilling them, right? What specific frustration? If you're a generalist, it's much harder, right? I was just down in Birmingham, Alabama last year helping a fairly large MSP. And one of the things I didn't know, and these people had a massive fear of, were two things. One, browning out. Their network would go down here and there and it'd be super spotty. And it turns out that it really irritated a lot of people and short-circuited a lot of stuff. The second thing is they had a lot of lightning storms. And there was actually a lot of people that were terrified that lightning was going to strike their building, and they didn't want their data stored in their building. God forbid it got hit with a lightning strike. They wanted it at least replicated one time. I can't make this up because this is quite literally exactly what I dealt with, right? That was a specific frustration for them. So what can we offer to them? Backup and disaster recovery, right, is a great one. Making sure that the hardware actually has what it needs to function. UPSs on the computers and UPSs on the servers. So that way, if there is a brownout, they don't go down and lose the data or the computer doesn't fry, right? These are the things that we have to make sure that we go throughout this process. So your offer should answer 3 questions. And I'm not talking about your pricing packages or anything like that right now, but your offer, what you can offer to somebody else, because it's not 24/7 tech support, backup and disaster recovery, MDR and XDR, AV. That's not what you're offering. What problem do you actually solve for your customer? Why does it matter to the actual client? And last but not least, because this is the most important thing, all of your marketing surrounds these 3 questions. I promise you. What outcome do they get? Now, this is not intentional being a shameless plug, but I'm going to give myself as an example. What problem do we solve? We help MSPs that are struggling with sales and marketing and growth. That's all we do. If you're a member of mine, you know I don't talk about tech at all. I don't get involved in tech. I'm not an expert in tech. I am an expert in sales and marketing. Why does it matter to the clients? Because most MSPs, whether they're salespeople, owners, or marketers, are frustrated because they're not getting enough leads and they're not selling for the right amount of money. They think that they're short selling, they're leaving money on the table. It's the worst feeling in the world. But what outcome do they get when they work with us? They get to alleviate those problems. They get to learn the processes that they need to follow to have an incredible sales process. They learn how to market their businesses to generate an unlimited number of leads. That is the outcome that they get. Once again, not a shameless plug, but I can use myself as an example. Most of you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you don't already, check it out, Growth Generators on YouTube. You'll see the big purple logo here. But I say that because I'm helping people on YouTube solve that specific problem. That's why you found me, and that's why you probably were frustrated with billing. Unless you met alternative payments out and about, you probably went to alternative payments because you hated dealing with Stripe, or you hated dealing with QuickBooks, or you hated not getting paid. That's the most important thing. By the way, I am a loyal fan and a customer of alternative payments, and it's fantastic. These are the important things that you have to think about. You're most welcome, man. I say that wholeheartedly. I'm a Kool-Aid drinker. They are absolutely incredible. There's also more chat than I can read. This is a first, so I apologize if I don't.
I'm keeping the chat going for you. So I feel bad because I'm only able to half pay attention to you because I'm fully paying attention to the chat. But I do want to just say that there are a lot of questions and comments that people were still trying to figure out. All right, so the whole industry thing. So I think we nailed that down.
Good.
And then someone was like, well, how do we identify pain points? And my answer is you got to ask them questions. I mean, there's general pain points that every business has, right? My computer's slow. I've got the hourglass instead of a mouse, uh, whatever, right? So I've got all these issues on my computers. But are those issues enough for them to say I want to work with Taiwan or with Steve or with Calvin? I don't know. But when you have targeted marketing for like disaster recovery and planning, right? So now you're saying, oh yeah, we do backups, we recover servers when they crash, we do all this stuff to get your business back online. And then once it's online, we can help you keep it online. We do redundant this and high availability that, right? So now when you start making like targeted marketing material, you can send that to everyone, but not everyone resonates with it. But the people who resonate with it likely already have a pain that they're experiencing because maybe they're currently down.
100%.
Or maybe disaster planning is a priority for them because maybe they have to adhere to some type of regulatory compliance.
1,000%. So I just did a little experiment in real time, right? Chat, I run an MSP in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I use the temporary chat so somebody can't say, well, it already knows a bunch of data about you, right? And I don't run an MSP in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. But in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I want to target accounting firms in the area that have 5 to 50 employees. I need help with marketing and understanding their pain points. What are the technology pain points they have? And I'd be willing to bet, based on my years of experience doing this, that they all, depending on what kind of accounting they do, if they're dealing with the IRS, they need to have a WISP. So they have to deal with data security and compliance, right? They absolutely need that. And sometimes social security numbers and tax IDs roll through their desk. I know when I talk to my accountant, I have to give him that information typically once a year, unless he's already gotten, sometimes he has it stored already, but that's besides the point. Downtime and reliability, right? If employees aren't working, they're not making money. They're on technology overload. Too many tools. They have a CRM, tax prep, document management, payroll portals, waste time juggling logins and servers. Being the MSP, hey, we can unify your passwords. We can use one of our, you'd have to spruce this up a little bit, but as an example, your solution could be a passwords manager. And guess what's going to happen? Their life gets a million times easier. They don't have to sign into every single thing. Your solution solves their pain point. Then you got to get creative in marketing so they understand that, right? Cyber insurance. They may need cyber insurance. Now, I don't know because I'm not an accountant in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but this is the first place that I would start. And then as you learn more and more and more, you'll become an expert in that space, right? You have client communication and file sharing, which is also another one that's a pain in the butt. You have scalability and growth being another one. As firms hit 20 to 50 employees, they outgrow their IT guy. It literally says it for you. Cost control. And if you want to take it one step further, what are the solutions I can provide, right? And ChatGPT is going to give it to you. I think we all probably know how to use ChatGPT by now. Data security and compliance, downtime and reliability, technology overload, cyber insurance readiness, right? These are all things that I just figured out as not being here or not being in Grand Rapids, Michigan as an accountant that's having those issues. That's the greatest place to start, right? So what problem do we solve? All those problems that ChatGPT listed, those are the problems that hopefully you can solve. Why does it matter to those clients? I would imagine you could probably figure it out, but if you can't, right? Regulatory compliance. They need to comply with IRS, FTC safeguard rules. They, keyword, need to comply. It's not an option. They absolutely positively need to. And if they get audited, they are in some hot water. Appreciate that, by the way. Right? And what outcomes do they get? Well, what happens when we pair the problem with the solution that you have? What is the outcome that they get? Is it peace of mind, right? Is it confidence that they know that things aren't going to go down?
Man, I feel like those are such generic ones though, like, oh,
brother,
like I just see every MSP say those words.
But they don't present it the right way, right? So we help ideal customer profile solve this specific pain point using your offer. If I didn't just do it this morning, then I would totally agree. But it is so common. Some of the bigger firms that have invested the money into hiring a marketer usually get this right. But the vast majority of people, I've probably had 1,000 discovery calls, and that is not a lie, in the last 2 years. The amount of MSPs that have just this problem with not being able to talk about who they actually help specifically, and their entire website reads like a resume, is staggering. Steve, take it away, brother.
You got it, man. Well, hey, so as I promised, I'm going to take literally just a couple minutes to tell you guys about alternative payments, and then we're going to dive back into the content that Harry's presenting. So, for those of you wondering, what's alternative payments? It's simple. You get paid, right, by your clients, but if you're like a lot of MSPs still, you're getting checks from your clients. And they mail out the check whenever they get around to it. And then it arrives whenever the post office remembers to deliver it. And, 26 days after you've sent them the invoice, you might finally get your check, right? Or let's say maybe you are a more modern MSP and you're using something like Stripe. And this is no shade to Stripe. Stripe is a wonderful processor. I use them myself. However, Stripe is not able to automate certain things. So what we do is we don't just do payments for MSPs. We automate accounts receivable. And what we mean by that is you can generate an invoice in your PSA. So ConnectWise PSA, Autotask, SuperOps, and Halo PSA. We integrate with all 4 of those. And when you generate that invoice, we will sync it over to our platform. You can sync it over to your QuickBooks Online, Xero, whatever your accounting platform is. We integrate with both your PSA and your accounting. So when we sync that invoice in, we will send out the payment reminder emails until they pay. But more importantly, what you'll probably see here is we have the ability for your customers to do auto pay. And what we mean by that is we're giving you a full payment portal. So just like you can log into Spectrum or your electric company or whatever, when you think about your own bills, we're now giving your customers the ability to log in and pay your bills that you're invoicing them. So that's it, man. We automate sending out the reminder. We can help you or them set up auto pay. You can have it, paid like right on the due date. That way you get your money right away. And then we'll mark the invoice paid in both your PSA and your accounting platform. And then we'll create the deposit. So like in QuickBooks Online, for example, we've got this fun little checkbox where you check the box and you say, create deposits. And now it's literally going to create the deposit of all of the payments that you had, like on today's Thursday. So I made a bunch of payments on Monday. Today, that deposit's coming. So alternative payments will make that deposit in QuickBooks, in that bank. And any fees that I may have paid, like if I let customers pay with a credit card and I just paid those fees for the credit card processing, that's automatically deducted. So that way, when you're in QuickBooks and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing in QuickBooks, you download your bank feed and everything just matches. And that's our goal, is to make it so you're not spending a bunch of time chasing money or figuring out how to put that money into your QuickBooks properly. So that way your bookkeeper or CPA or TurboTax aren't yelling at you at the end of the year / beginning of the year. So that's alternative payments. With that said, if you are interested in a demo, I'll put a link in the chat. I'll even pop up a little, I'll do a poll. I love polls, guys. I don't know if you guys know me, but I love polls. They're my favorite thing. So yeah, I'll launch a poll. If you're interested in learning more about alternative payments, even if it's just a conversation, okay? We're not going to pressure you. We'll show you the platform, and you make an educated decision on if this is for you. Yeah. So
Cool.
Cool.
Let's do it. By the way, I did say I'm an alternative payments customer. I actually have a link on my website because I believe in them that much. And that link, I am an affiliate now. Full transparency, when you do sign up, you become an affiliate. This link was on there. I don't know if my screen's sharing or not, but this link was on here. If you go to vendor perks on our website, this was here. I don't even know if this is the affiliate link, but I believe in them in that much. I am a customer myself. I pay. I actually haven't made $1 from them yet, but they get my testimonial because it is truly. And I just did a meeting with Nick, one of the partner managers, I believe. Right, is his title?
Partnerships manager.
Yeah, partnerships manager. Absolute rock star. I absolutely love it. If you're here for just the education, I love you too, just for being here. So we're going to get right back into it here. So why do lead magnets work, right? We've probably all heard of lead magnet. Now, spoiler, right? If you go to growth-generators.com/resources, where we have a ton of things, including that free buyer persona worksheet, that is called a lead magnet. It's there to actually help you as a customer. But by you downloading that, you go in our system and you say, hey, you are some kind of lead. You want something that can help your business grow. The problem that I see consistently is almost every MSP out there does not have a lead magnet. And I say that not because I want you to go download my stuff, right? But I want you to understand that that's why a lead magnet works. If you make something that helps your dream customer understand that you know what you're talking about, they can start a relationship with you without without the feeling of they're getting a sale forced down their throat, right? That makes people happy. You want to learn more. You are here because you wanted to learn more on how to grow your MSP. Spoiler, this is a lead magnet. Welcome, right? You're all a part of the experiment. But the reason you're here is because there's insane value for you to show up. It offers value that earns trust faster than ads. You can run ads to your lead magnet, but a percentage of those people aren't ever going to download anything. And that's totally okay. But there is going to be a percentage of people that say, hey, I want to learn a little bit more on whether or not you can help my business. And that's what a lead magnet is. And I'm going to tie all this together into a nice little bow by the time we wrap this thing up so you can understand, right? Proven lead magnets that work. Now, these are a little bit more generic. I'd put in your ideal customer, but I wanted to make sure it fit everybody. Checklist: top 10 cybersecurity gaps that accountants in Rapids, Michigan typically miss, right? Or overlook. PDF guide: the business owner's guide to hassle-free IT on Long Island. Get a little creative with it, right? Or instead of business owner, right? The law firm manager's guide to hassle-free IT. You can get creative with these. A free 15-minute home, network health check. That one's a little bit more of a tough one because not everyone's interested in letting you into their home, right? Their network being their home. Or an email swipe file, right? Hey, 5 IT security emails you can send to your clients today. That's a great one that I would use, right? Hey, you can have this. I have a great one for you at the end of this. It's an entire AI engine that's going to deliver you an unlimited amount of leads almost immediately. You have to come up with something that's going to get your dream customer excited, right? That's the most important part. You have to make sure that you know who you're going after and then what you can actually offer them. So how do you make your lead magnets irresistible? Because once we know who we're going after, how we're going after them, we need them to let us know that they are just a little bit interested in what we do. We got to make sure that it's relevant to who they are. This is why it helps to niche down, because if you're going to make a lead magnet for every single industry out there, you're going to spend an unlimited amount of time and you're never going to get great results from it because you can't, right? The man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. You have to make sure it solves a problem that your ICP actually cares about. So I'll refer back to ChatGPT, right? Technology overload. It could be the data security and compliance. There's so many different opportunities, downtime and reliability. These are great lead magnets. How to prevent these problems from happening. We want something that's quick and easy for people to consume. It could be a video. It could be a one-page guide, a checklist, an ebook, something that somebody could say, hey, this is digestible. I can work on this and it can make me a percentage better. And then last but not least, it delivers a specific solution. delivers one clear win, not everything at once. If you want everything at once, in my membership, we have an onboarding guide. You can actually use it to teach ChatGPT about your business. Here's the problem. It takes about 5 hours. It's that many questions. It took me 8 hours to go through mine for my own business. That's why it's important. You want something that can be a nice, quick, easy win. Buyer persona is this great example of this. Something that somebody can go through and say, hey, this fits me. Is my healthcare practice HIPAA compliant? Well, here's a checklist that gives me a ballpark idea of I'm at least on the right steps, right? Do you have a binder with the steps? Do you have backup? Do you have a hardened system, right? All of these things that happen or have to go through and happen to be HIPAA compliant. You have to give something simple that somebody can digest that would truly have an impact on somebody's business. So now that we have a pretty good idea of all of this information, we have a 3-channel rule, and I'm getting close to the 60-minute mark. So if people have to leave, feel free to ask your question. So I'll come back to them at the end if you have to leave at the hour. But you don't need to be everywhere at all times. You just need to be in 3 right places. And I am a perfect example of this myself, right? You need to figure out what works best for you. Once again, checking out your buyer persona, where people hang out online, preferred social media platforms. It's almost like I think about these things, right? Where can you spend your time? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, writing blogs and SEO, cold emailing, running ads? But you can't be inconsistent. If you try to do them all, it's going to be super inconsistent. It's going to be exhausting, and you're going to get no traction. Me personally, I actually use these 3. This is why we included it. Most of you know about the YouTube channel. If you don't already, please go subscribe. Growth Generators. Weekly videos. We do almost daily videos. We do 4 days a week. I used to do 5. I do 4 days a week now. We have an email list that we send out emails with tips and tricks and videos that we think are impactful for people and helpful for people. And then we also do some LinkedIn outreach. We have an automation running that just puts our YouTube channel in front of more people, and we're going to be running ads later this year. Right? These are 3 channels that match my ICP, helping MSPs. You all hopefully now understand what an ICP is. You can go through, grab the buyer persona worksheet, fill that out, and you know exactly who those people are. Where are they hanging out? There's somebody in here. Quinyon, I'm going to call you out because I love you to death, right? I have a member in here, Quinyon. He actually gets a lot of his business, believe it or not, from Reddit. A lot of his dream customers hang out on Reddit. I'm not going to go any deeper than that, but if you're like, oh, I can't find customers, I promise you they are out there. The only one I would probably not recommend is X. It's way too hard to convert people in just short little messages, right? Everything else is completely fair game. There are tons of opportunities. If you don't think TikTok works, you are crazy. I am living proof that YouTube works. I promise you, if you make great content or you make great material, somebody is going to find it interesting. I hope everyone here is using LinkedIn or should be using LinkedIn for the majority of you. And everyone, a non-negotiable, should be using an email list. There's no reason not to. You should be sending out emails that absolutely help people. So where can you find clients, right? Or how do these all work? Hopefully you all know this, but if you don't, YouTube. Educational content builds authority. That's why most of you subscribe to me, and I appreciate you for that. Email marketing. Nurture to convert those leads. At some point or another, we're going to put out content that helps an MSP or helps somebody say, I'm ready. I'm going to start. And we get to be the guiding light there, and that means the world to me. You get to do the exact same thing in your business. LinkedIn, you're going to connect with those key decision makers if you're in that industry. If you're working on construction sites, believe it or not, you might have better luck with Facebook, right? But because they're not on there. Medical people, you're probably going to be leaning towards a couple different things. And I give you some examples in here as well. Local SEO, creating content on your website, and Google My Business. Google My Business is an absolute goldmine. If you think that Google My Business is a waste, go on YouTube, search Google My Business for MSPs. I'll come up, and it's a fantastic video. I don't want $1 of your money. I just want to help you grow your MSP. Facebook ads, target outreach.
I wouldn't mind $1 of your money. Just $1 though. And it's just for me.
You know what? Send me your address. I'll send you $1. There. Cold outreach. It does work, but you got to be really careful. It's the sneaky one that people think is super easy. It's not. I promise you, it takes hours and it takes way too much time to set up. But you can do calls, emails, although I do like cold calling, but cold emails are tough. Direct messages, DMs to your ideal client your ICP, your prospects. I'm combining words here. And last but not least, webinars and workshops. Show expertise live. That's what, surprise, you're on a webinar. Hopefully you know that. All right, so pick channels that match with your ICP. In this case, local law firms, LinkedIn, local SEO, networking. Fantastic. Medical practices, emails, webinars, and compliancy guides. Small businesses, if you're going after that area. YouTube is a great one. Email, Facebook ads, nonprofits, LinkedIn, community events are fantastic. Get ready to put your volunteer shoes on, and case studies. These are just some examples. I couldn't do everything, but it gives you an idea. I wouldn't spend time, right, if I was going after any of these, or better yet, if I was focusing on law firms, I wouldn't spend time on Facebook. I wouldn't spend time on Instagram. I might not even spend time on YouTube, believe it or not. I would focus on these three as your core, and then maybe if you want to do a fourth one, if you think you can handle it, then go a fourth route. But you only need three to be a dominating force in an industry. You pick your three, and you commit to those three. You have content, whether that's YouTube's, blogs, webinars. You have your second channel, which is nurture, right? Emails, case studies, newsletters. Be consistent with your newsletters. I automate mine for the next 2 years, believe it or not.
Wow.
And then
how do you do that?
Brother, just like you doubted me for getting this room full, baby. And then outreach, right? LinkedIn, networking, and cold outreach, specifically more cold calls. But if you want to be a cold emailer, more power to you. Why most MSPs actually lose the sale. We've talked about how to acquire new people, get them in the door, right? 80% of sales requires at least 5 follow-ups. I mentioned earlier on in this that if you look around your desk, you're going to see a bunch of different logos. You drive in the car, you see hundreds of different logos. I lived on Long Island. We never really had billboards. I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We got billboards everywhere. Even driving, you're just getting blasted with ads. You have to follow up. Most MSPs truly stop after 1, maybe 2 outreaches. Maybe 2. Almost exclusively 1. Call, no answer, or call left a voicemail, gone.
Yeah, isn't it something like, it used to be something like 7 touches, but isn't it even more now thanks to social media?
People say it's 35 touches or 38 touches now.
38? Oh my goodness.
Think about it, right? My phone's sitting right here, just in this webinar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's about to brag how many people want to talk to him, guys, and 11, this isn't okay.
12. This isn't talking. This is just notifications on my phone. 13 notifications on my phone, from YouTube to emails to LinkedIn to the Ring doorbell to Go High Level for my CRM, right? It's been an hour and 4 minutes, and I've gotten 13 notifications from all these. You are constantly fighting for attention in today's day and age. And that's not even including all the logos and the people that are in my office, or that share an office with me or in the building with me, right? It is really, really important. You get the lead. You probably didn't follow up. You have to make sure that you follow up. I will call you at whatever hour of the night. If you put in a call request, if I am awake, you are getting a phone call. I have closed deals at 1:30 in the morning, and I have closed deals at 6 a.m. It does not matter you got to strike when the iron's hot, because I want to be the first one that follows up, because I don't know if they're going to me and any of my competitors. Hopefully not, but hey, I get it. It's fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing that you want when they become a lead is for you to lose them forever. It's devastating to anybody, truly. So follow up that actually works, right? Email subject line. I'm just giving you a quick little example so you can follow up. You could build it out in automation, especially if you're somebody that stinks with time, myself included, right? That's why I automate all my emails for the next 2 years. Email subject line. Quick question about your IT setup. LinkedIn message starter. Hi, so-and-so. I work with other industry firms to reduce downtime. Curious if that's a challenge for you too. Now, LinkedIn, you got to test a little more, because that message won't resonate with a lot of people, but it will resonate with some people. And when you know who you're going after, you can tweak it so you really find those thorns in the side, that pain point. And then a callback opener. Hey, so-and-so, just wanted to circle back. although I don't love the word circle back, but I think everyone knows what it means, and see if now's a better time to chat about your IT needs. I'm not just following up. I am following up, right? I know we had a conversation. Let's chat. Let's go a little deeper today. These are just examples so you could take them and understand. It's painful, but when it clicks, it's
Now, Harrison, he's having fun over here.
I'm just reading Giorgio stuff. It is true.
I gotta say, Giorgio has some really, really fun insights. I've been enjoying chatting with him on there. One thing I want to do real quick, and then Harrison still has more slides, but I actually want to do something for Harrison. Harrison, can you really quickly, what is it that Growth Generators does for MSPs? Because I'm gonna launch a poll, and you guys can wait until he's done. But if you're interested in having a chat, about Harrison's services, you can answer that poll. Harrison, what is it you do?
We help MSPs with sales and marketing by teaching them. We're offering slowly. We just finished our pilot program, but we're now offering done-for-you marketing solutions as well. We turn down more marketing opportunities than we take, truthfully, because most people don't know who their ideal customer is, and I'm not going to put my name on something that's not going to convert. But over at growth-generators.com, I'm so used to saying it from YouTube. I really wish that was a lie. I'm just so used to saying it. You can check us out. You can reach out to me directly. I'm probably floating around for a good bit after this. If anybody wants to send me a message, you can hang out with me on Discord as well. But we are known for two main things. The Launchpad, it's great for if you're just starting your MSP. I mean, truly, truly just starting. You're not sure how to start it. Or our membership. There's no evaluation. You can jump in. I guess I'll give a little spoiler for anyone in here. If you'd like, because I love Steve, and I knew Steve was worried about whether or not I was going to send out a marketing email. Truth be told,
he's really throwing some shade here over this.
I knew I
was. All right, you delivered, Harrison. Okay,
I did deliver. I just let it be known. A lot of people have been curious to know if it actually, if it's worth it for them to join or anything like that. Full transparency. If you go to growth-generators.com/free, I'll put the link in chat for you guys. But if you want to try out what we have to offer, it is on. Nick, love you to death. Appreciate you. We have a bunch of, and if anyone's a hero already, feel free to drop it in there. Thank you, Steve. But we're giving a week of free away. Also, full transparency, we've never done that before. And I can almost promise I'm never going to do it again. Unless it's something super exclusive like this. But I know a lot of people have I'm not sure if I want to do it or I don't want to do it. If you've thought about joining us, it's a week free. You cancel after that week, great. I hope you learned something. I promise you to learn something. Whether or not you decide to implement what you learn, that's on you. That's all I could say. Brian, love it, brother. We're here for you when you're ready.
Yeah, so he's got the Growth Generators website, growth-generators.com. And you can go to the link I put in the chat, growth-generators.com/free. You can get a week free of his membership platform. And then you mentioned Discord. Is that the MSP Heroes Discord?
It is. It's a completely free Discord. You can go to the website, growth-generators.com. I think it's actually /Discord. You can go there under resources, click on the Discord. It'll bring you through and you can get into the Discord as well. It's completely free. I spend way less time there because it's a free community, and I spend way more time with my MSP heroes that we meet 5 days a week, 6 times per week. We have office hours every single day. So there's no reason anybody should say, I can't succeed. And we're also we're now going to be adding in a tech chat hour as well. So if you're I want to talk about tech, started with 0, I gained 3 clients since joining. Quignon, you're a real one. Appreciate you, brother. Pumped. I'm honestly the coolest part about my job, it's $97 a month after that. I'm not going to hide anything. I don't really care about the money, right? I make enough money to live. But I truly love seeing, I'm getting goosebumps. I love seeing you guys crush it. There's nothing that makes me happier, which is why when Steve was like, hey, we're going to do this for an hour. And I was like, I'm doing 90 minutes. I kind of forced him into that one. But Jafar, super excited, man. That is the goal. My goal is just to teach you something. If you want to become an MSP hero, great. If you don't want to become an MSP hero, great. I make plenty of free content on YouTube. If you ever see me out in person, say hello, Say if it helped you, great. If it didn't help you, don't worry about it. But if it helped you, that means the world to me. And let me know, because it truly makes my day better every time. It's helping me get my MSP up and running. Efren, appreciate you, brother. You're crushing it. YouTube landed my first. Dude, hell yeah. So back to learning, because I want to make sure you guys I have time for an AMA. Let AI write it for you, right? We can, if we know who we're going after, how we're going after them, we're tying this all in together. This is the most important part. So if you got to go, hold it, right? We can have AI do most of this for us, but AI doesn't know everything about our business. We might think AI knows everything about our business, but by knowing who we want to help, how we want to help them, the pain points that we actually solve for them, we can have AI do half the work. It'll help us generate emails, especially follow-up emails. It'll help you write your lead magnets. It'll help you write the text on your website. It'll draft call scripts for you. We also have a free call script inside of growth-generators.com/resource, right? It'll help you with crafting LinkedIn and DM messages on demand. You put in the person, you copy their page, put in there, hey, how can I help this person? Boom, it's going to teach you how to help them. That is the most important thing, right? I don't want you to do the work. I don't want to do the work. We use AI all the time. It makes my life a million times easier. I still got to review it. I still got to go through it, but it gets me started, right? So something you have to do, your follow-up flow. Hopefully you found out who your dream customer is. You're meeting them however you're meeting them, YouTube, networking, cold calling, whatever it is. You send them an email on day one. You can take a screenshot of this, take a picture of it, or wait till the recording comes out. Day one, you send them an email. Hey, it was super nice meeting you. Day three, you could do it day two too, especially if it's an in-person networking. Send a LinkedIn DM. Connect with them. Day five, make a call. Your goal isn't to force the sale down their throat. It's not to get, it is to get money, but on day one, it's not to get money. We want to make sure that we follow up. Hey, what are you doing for coffee today? I'd love to get coffee with you. Ezra, appreciate you, brother. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much, man. You repeat this cycle until it's either closed, meaning the deal was closed, you have made the money, right? Or you lost the deal. That's it. It's not as hard as you think it is. If you know who you can help, how you can help them, the problems that you can actually solve, and you follow up with your dream customer, it becomes so easy. I actually wish, one of my regrets in my business is I feel like I'm so busy, I don't even have time to call the leads. And that's probably the craziest thing in the world, because I feel like all I do is hit record for you guys. But I wish I could make more phone calls, right? We want to cut the fluff. We want to focus on what truly counts. If you track every metric, how many calls you had, yes, I get it. And I know Steve had somebody on that talked about pre and post leading indicators, right? Or indicators, which is fine. But you can't do everything, right? If you track everything, you're going to learn nothing, right? We have to track the most valuable metrics. And I will agree that they did say that that's one of the most important things, and I couldn't agree more with them. Most MSPs track the vanity metrics, clicks, likes, and impressions. I have a YouTube channel. We have 8,300 subscribers now. I like when you guys subscribe because it honestly just makes me feel good. But subscribers is a vanity metric, believe it or not. It just looks cool, and it's a cool talking point. What really matters is how many people watch the videos and how many leads do we get every single day, right? Or week or month, right? We generate hundreds of leads from YouTube, and it's the coolest thing, being able to help people. But we have to track the real metrics, the clicks, the likes, the impressions on your posts, on what you're actually creating. These are the things that really, really matter when it comes to your business, right? We want to know what leads we're getting, what's converting. We have tons of every single one of these landing pages right under our resources, because I do like to give real world scenarios here. Everything that says free on it is on a landing page. They're designed to collect your information. And every single thing that we do is testing to see what variations. So some buttons might be blue, some buttons might be red, some buttons might be green, pictures might change. But our job is to see what converts the best to generate the most amount of leads. And then those leads turn into hopefully conversations, discovery calls, and whatnot. So 3 metrics that you absolutely need to track. You need to track the number of leads that you get. If you don't get any leads, you got to go through and watch the beginning part of this again. because you have to follow that process to get the leads. New opportunities coming in, people that can actually do business with you. How many of those leads turn into conversations? And how many of those conversations turn into conversions? A closed deal, they send you, hopefully, a check. Well, maybe not a check. Maybe they just pay you through alternative payments because it's the best damn platform on the market. How about that? All right. That's how they should be paying you, though. Hey, here's my form. Fill it out on alternative payments, and you get paid every single month. I'm not paid to say that, by the way. I genuinely believe in the program because I've gotten screwed by Stripe, right? On more than one occasion. You have to look at it that way. Most people don't actually take advantage of it and set it up correctly. If you set it up correctly, you can get paid and it makes life easier. My goal is to make your MSP more successful, which is either getting you more time or making you more money or building your business bigger. So your weekly scorecard, you should absolutely have one of these. It could be super simple. You can put it up on your wall. If you want to put it up on your wall, I'm in the process of mounting, I forgot my drill today, a whiteboard on the other desk that you'll see me recording behind soon, right? Week 1, how many leads did we get? How many conversations did we get? And how many conversions did we get? If you want to take your process a little bit further, we do have a free battle card that gives you the full process that I always recommend. But strong start, fewer leads, best week, right? And these are all going to give you math numbers. I'm sure we all know about math. It's super important that we track those. Then there's leading indicators, which was already talked about on one of these, and that's totally fine. And I think Brian did a great job, right? Your marketing playbook is done. We now know who our ideal customer is, what our core offer is, not the package that we're going to sell, the offer, the solution that solves their problems. We now know that their problems can be solved with a lead magnet. ChatGPT can help you with all these. We can figure out what marketing channels we actually want to follow. We can follow up with these people. And if you use a CRM, if you're an MSP hero, you get Go High Level. If you're in Tech Tribe, you get Growably, and some of the other competitors use some other stuff. But as long as you have a CRM, you can easily track your key metrics. I don't care what program you're in, as long as you're in somebody's thing and you're using the tools correctly. So, one quick win this week. Pick one thing to do, one action from your playbook. It could be any of these, right? If you don't have an ideal customer profile or client profile, go to your core offer. If you have a core offer, then go to your lead magnet, so on and so forth. But pick one and get it done in the next 7 days. I can't hold your feet to the fire unless you're an MSP Heroes and you ping me on Discord. I just can't. But your roadmap for moving forward is you have to finish your playbook elements. What is going to make you successful? You have to test them in real world campaigns. You have to optimize. You have to improve based on the results that you get and then grow and scale that as consistently as possible. Because the real goal is consistency. 1000% beats complexity. Your system is your superpower. And that's the playbook today. That is it. I want you to succeed. This is more than enough information for you to take it and run with it and honestly crush it out there, right? And if you want help growing your MSP, check out the Discord community. You can jump at MSP Heroes, msgrowth-generators.com/free. It's free for this week only. It's the only time I've ever done this. Brandon's not in here. Maybe he is in here, and he's my right-hand guy, and he'll say he made it literally 15 minutes before this call. Brandon is in here, so yeah, he's pinging me now.
I know you made it 15 minutes before this call, though.
You did, or you didn't?
Because I think you were still sharing your screen when I popped in here, and you were editing WordPress. It was
sounds about right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something a little special for people that came, because there's still almost 50 of you guys, shy of 50 now. If you don't like it, leave. If you enjoy it and you gain something from it, stay. I don't want your money if you don't like it. I only want to help people that truly want to succeed and are willing to stick around and learn. You already got the special offer. It's free. We can go to AMA if that helps.
So here's a question, and I want to take a stab at it, but I do want you to answer it as well, Harrison. Gregorio said, question on the lead magnet. I tend to use educational to catch attention. But when I get puzzled is how far down my rabbit hole do I go before I ask instead of give? Well, like I said, I want to take a stab at this first. Sure. Let's literally use today's webinar as an example. You got between, 1 and 6 emails between Harrison and I, depending on whose lists you're on, right? You registered for said webinar. You popped in. We promised you a pitch or two and mostly education. We delivered for about 45, 50 minutes. And then I did what, 3 minutes of pitch? And several of you expressed interest. So my job is now done, right? Now I can pass it over to sales, and those guys can have conversations with you. Now, obviously, as a smaller MSP, you're the one kind of doing all the things, right? But I mean, that's really it. Like, get them in for the education, deliver the education, but make the ask.
100%. 100%. Good rule of thumb is every 3 to 4 emails. If you don't want to, hey, it's so nice to meet you, right? One of the examples I always give is, who wants to buy an F-150 today?
Yeah.
The vast majority of you are probably going to say no, right? Maybe there's a chance that one of you in the room wants to buy a Ford F-150 today. The reason being is you might not have a need for that today, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have a need down the road, right? It just means today you don't have the need for it because you don't know what's going to happen down the road. So it's important to understand that, hey, you can't go through and say, hey, it's so nice to meet you. Do you want to buy my stuff and send me all this money? I'm just going to cram that sale down their throat. That's the last thing that you want. But you do want to provide value. And then every 3 to 5 emails, maybe 3 to 4 emails, you can say, hey, if you want to learn more about us, book a free consultation or book a free call with me, right? No sales pressure call. Something that gets somebody interested. In most of my emails, if you're on my email list, and if you're not already, if you grabbed any of my resources, you will be now, right? You're going to get 2 years worth of emails. And I do go up and update those emails, by the way. So don't think I just leave them willy-nilly. But we have those. And then every once in a while, you'll see, hey, by the way, you should check out MSP Heroes. If you're finding value in this, you have no idea. Like the stuff in MSP Heroes, I've never released publicly. That's how much, I guess, goes on in my brain. But I want to help. Like that's the goal. I want to help as many MSPs as possible. So I want to make sure that I keep providing value and staying top of mind over and over and over again. So to circle it back with, I don't know what industry I should go after. This is why you have to pick one or maybe 2 industries, because if you try to service every business under the sun, right? I did the example on the call on literally a call the other day, right? How many businesses are in Charlotte, North Carolina? 80,000 businesses. Quick math, if I make 100 phone calls a day, that's 500 phone calls a week, 2,000 phone calls per month. That's 48,000 phone calls for the year. I would only touch every single person one time, and I wouldn't even get through all. I don't know why I did that. I wouldn't even get through all of the businesses in Charlotte. But if I wanted to focus on how many financial advisors are in Charlotte, this becomes a much more manageable number, 4,000 advisors. That means, based on my math, I can call almost every single one of them every 2 months. That means I get to call them 6 times per year if I make 100 phone calls a day. It's way easier targeting one specific niche and knowing, hey, I just want to call all of them. You become an expert in their industry. You learn the jargon, you learn their tech, you learn the issues that they're having. And guess what? It's not just one of them having that issue. It's so many of them having the exact same type of issue. That's why you need to, and if you want to pick 2, or you're like, hey, oil and gas doesn't really work out sometimes, right? Pick an adjacent company, right? Refineries or distribution companies that go hand in hand, right? I guess when the times are good, it'll be really good. And when the times are bad, it'll be really, really bad. But hopefully you build your stuff out to weather the storm, right? Or you pick oil and gas, which is a bit more lucrative. And then you pick, death and taxes, which is guaranteed for everybody. You can have a little fun with it.
You like that one, don't you?
That one, I'm not gonna lie. That one, I haven't heard that one yet. That was really, really good. But that's why you have to, pick 1 or 2. But if you wanted to do every business out there, and thank you guys for jumping in MSP Heroes. I've seen several come through already. You guys are legends. But if you just try to work with everybody, right? In my building alone, I have like 2 financial advisors, I have 2 wealth managers, and I have a construction company in the back. I couldn't possibly, and there's some other businesses I don't even know because they're never here. I could not possibly want to learn, or worse, have my techs get burnt out because they have to learn the software and the compliance for the therapists. They have to learn the software and the compliance for the financial advisors. And then they have to learn the software and the hardware and the large print format printers that the construction company is using. Right. So just in that alone, this building, right? Granted, there's kind of two of them are regulated, or at least there's compliance behind them. But having to know both of those and then adding that construction company on, I don't know about you, but I enjoy sleeping. I try to get a full, great night's sleep every night. I don't take naps, but sleep is extremely important to me. I would lose so much sleep having to learn every single industry and every single requirement that they have. And God forbid maybe I rolled out HIPAA compliance for somebody that shouldn't have it, and it's a nightmare for them and they get upset, or maybe I forget and I don't roll out HIPAA compliance for somebody and now I'm at fault, right? It's too much for you to remember. I don't want you to remember that. I want your life to be easy, right? I gave up my gray hairs when I was selling, or I gave up all my hair when I was selling MSP services, right? And I learned what to do right and what to do wrong. And truthfully, my old quota was about $25,000 a month when I left. It was an excruciatingly high number, but I knew what niches I could go after and what niches my team loved. So it made sales super, super easy. And that's not a BS number, by the way. That was literally the number that we would have that I had going out the door. It was crazy. And I almost never missed quota, but I worked 1,000 hours a week to get there. And I don't want that for you guys, because it took a long time to get there and I made a lot of mistakes. And that's why, truthfully, I have this channel. So you guys can go through and learn from the mistakes and the massive successes I was able to have.
Mm-hmm. Before we wrap up here in a couple minutes, does anyone have any other questions they have either for Harrison, me, the voices?
I see Harrison in half a minute or less. Can you run me through what free goodies included? If you, so MSP Heroes for a week is free. growth-generators.com/free. If you want to check it out, it's completely free. You can cancel anytime. I'm not like a crazy
But what's
person.
included?
What's included? We have 6 major training courses, sales training, marketing training, starting your MSP, teaching you how to use your CRM. There's an entire resource library that I don't kind of consider a training course, and I'm drawing a blank on the 5th one. We have an entire community of people. We have dozens and dozens of resources. We provide Monday through Friday live coaching. So I do Monday through Thursday. We do Monday, Tuesday, 2 sessions on Wednesday, morning and night. So if you're anywhere in the world, you can get access to it. Thursdays, and usually they're 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern. And then on Fridays, it's all about using your system, because you have to have a system. That is literally what this is all about. Brandon, my right-hand man, you'll meet with him on Fridays, and he goes through all the technicals on Go High Level. So that way there's no reason. And the reason we did that is Tuesdays is sales focused, Wednesdays is marketing focused. And if you're a larger MSP, you typically do your sales meeting on Monday. You typically do a Tuesday meeting. We know that people are meeting on Monday, so they can meet the following day for sales training on Tuesday. And we know that people are meeting on Tuesday typically for marketing, so we meet Wednesday so they can come and bring their ideas to it. And then Fridays, so you can spend the whole weekend working on the automations to make the client acquisition just absolutely dominate the industry. How do you deal with failing? End up with egg on. How do you deal with failing? Ending up with egg on your face.
How do you deal with failing and ending up with egg on your face? I mean, sure, fix, recycle, grow, but it must take a toll on an MSP emotionally and all, right?
So yes, 1,000%. I've failed many times. I remember vividly, one of my largest contracts I ever closed. I'm not going to disclose how much money it is, but it was a healthy amount of money every single month. Every MSP in here would be stoked to get that deal. He called me on a Sunday night. He ran a massive call center. That was all they did. They would take calls specifically, once again, niching, for lawyers all around the country. They'd pay him hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to just pick up the phone, because a lawyer doesn't want to miss a call. Their system went down on a Sunday. I was bartending at the time. I loved bartending. I don't bartend anymore. It was my favorite job in the world. I'd go back to it part-time just because it's the most fun that I think you can have. And I remember he called and I go, oh, this is not good. It was like Sunday at like 8 o'clock. I'm in the middle of the rush. He calls me and I'm like, well, I make a lot more money on this guy than I do bartending. And I squat down below the bar and he goes, I'm going to kill you if you don't have a tech in my office in the next 45 minutes. He was furious. Now, truth be told, he's supposed to have a tech there within the time period. Nobody got there. And it was a crushing amount of pressure. Did we deliver? Absolutely. Was I ready to quit my job at that moment and drive directly to their office? Absolutely. Right. But at some point or another, somebody's going to drop the ball. Guess what? You don't get measured by how many times you fall down and get knocked out. If you want the real story, go to search Harrison Barron online. I have an entire website, harrisonbarron.com. I have an entire second YouTube channel where I have hundreds of videos also called The Millennial Entrepreneur Harrison Barron. And guess what? That channel never took off because I wanted to help way too many people and it wasn't working. And then I stumbled into teaching people because I didn't want my competitors to know my secret sauce for sales and marketing for MSPs. So I didn't want to give it away. And then I said, I'm never going to go back in the industry. I'll go make my YouTube videos and I'll go help people. And that's what I did. Right. But it's naturally to fail. It's how many times, the Chubba Wubba song, you get that knocked down and you get back up again. And that's what you got to do. Yeah. You just figured out what way doesn't work is 100% the right thing. Right. That's all. It's just constantly a learning curve. Yeah, you just gotta stay motivated. We are allowed emotions. No. Next question. I'm just kidding. You can have emotions. It's tough. It's tough to deal with. It's tough not meeting expertise. I dropped the ball one time too. I had a $2,500 or $3,500 deal, signed contract and everything. And I forgot to put it in the system for 2 days. Customer was pissed. He goes, I thought I was going to get a call by now to schedule my onboarding call. That felt like a slap in the face. It is what it is. I'm not going to do business with him. He's never going to give me a referral. It was great. I was super excited. We would have knocked it out of the park. I dropped the ball. It happens. You get back up. You get back out there. I literally had the contract. I'm using the dollars as the contract, but I had the contract signed and everything in pen nonetheless. Went there, had it closed, super excited, and I didn't put it in the system. My fault. Darren wants to know why you sold your MSP.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe they just forgot. So I'll be honest. I started my MSP in 2009. Shut it down recently, and mostly because it just wasn't fun anymore. I didn't like going out and selling. I have always had this crazy fear of rejection. I'm getting over it now. But yeah, that was one of the things. And then the biggest reason is because cybersecurity is hard. Especially when I started, it was like, just make sure you got semantic antivirus on all the computers and you're fine, right? And now it's like you need 9 different cybersecurity apps installed on every single endpoint. And then you need, the spam filtering and 9 different other filters for the emails. And it's just so much. And I'm not saying I couldn't figure it out, but between not having fun anymore, I don't really want to be in charge. I want to have a voice, but I don't want to be the guy making all the decisions.
Feel that for sure.
It just, it was a bunch of little things. Like each one of them could have individually been overcome, but ultimately, if you don't enjoy what you do, go do something else, man. And it worked out. I'm still in the MSP channel. I still work with MSPs. In fact, back in 2017, I started doing YouTube videos, and I was having more fun doing that than I was my MSP. And that's probably the big no fun factor, right? But then I'm trying to grow 2 businesses, right? I'm trying to grow with this MSP, and then I'm trying to grow Rocket MSP, doing the webinars, and I was doing a membership thing too. And it was a lot. At one point, I'm working 2 full-time jobs and succeeding at half of one. So
it's tough for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I would also say too, like for those of you that are curious, like failing and all that, you have to make sure that like, as you go through this process, like you remember what the end goal is, right? I'm pretty comfortable, at least I am now, with the end goal being MSP heroes and growth generators for probably forever, right? Or at least until the day it's not. But you have to have an end goal. If you're going to go into business, you should have some kind of an end goal. My goal with this is
Mhm.
to help as many MSPs as possible. That is
Yeah.
and will always remain the mission, which is why I make as many YouTube videos as I do, which is why I have as many sleepless nights as I do on what content I should make, regardless of whether or not people pay me. It's truthfully, that is really what we're all about. But you have to remember your end goal. I remember going to Vegas last year to talk at ScaleCon, and it's coming up. And if anyone's going, Growth 50 for your discount. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug that, but hey, whatever. And somebody was like, "I loved your videos," and they took a picture with me, and I felt like a rock star. And I was like, "This is what this is like." And immediately, the mission was like help MSPs, but at that moment it cracked, and I was like, I don't care about the money anymore. Yeah, do I want a nice car? Absolutely. Full transparency, I want a Lamborghini. There's no doubt about it. But my main goal is to help as many MSPs as possible. And if I get to help anybody in the MSP space close another deal, regardless of whether or not there's money exchanged, that's all that matters to me. So when I said in the beginning, if you see me out in public or wherever, if I'm at an event and you want to take a picture or what, or just meet me and say hello, it melts my heart. I'm getting goosebumps again. It's the coolest thing in my eyes. So hopefully that helps. Dude, appreciate you, man. Jeff, you're most welcome, man. Any other questions before we wrap this thing up? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Thank you to everybody that jumped in MSP Heroes, by the way. It was
Harrison, I gotta say, man, this was awesome. 97 minutes. That's a record for alternative payments. Hey guys, if anyone's interested, growth-generators.com/free, join his membership group. You get 7 days free. And then again, if you're interested in alternative payments, you can go to alternativepayments.io and you can learn more about it there. Or you'll get an opportunity to learn about it when we close this webinar here in just a moment, because it'll ask you about a survey. If you answer the survey, it'll ask you if you want to learn more about alternative payments. So use that opportunity there as well. Thank you so much, everyone. It does not look like we have any more questions.
Thank you, guys.
So you all have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, AI webinar will
AI tool for those of you that made it.
Oh,
thank you so
yes.
much. I made an AI tool and I'm going to give it all to you for free in this chat right now.
I love that guy.
Thank you so much for the reminder. Copy link. I made an AI tool for you. Thank you all for sticking around to the end. You can use this. You go in, Growth Generators MSP Lead Builder. You click, can you find MSPs for MSPs? Can you find leads for my MSP? You click that. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions, and it's literally going to print you out customers. Well, maybe not customers, but leads. And by the way, I saw that Darren had a question. If you want to, feel free to reach out to me. Go to contact us on the website. I'll call you probably shortly after this. Or actually, you know what? If you want to, go to growth-generators.com/discovery, if I remember correctly, or Harrison. Yeah, discovery. If you want to book a discovery call with me, want to learn more, pick my brain for a half hour, feel free. You can, I'll put the link in chat here if you want it, but you can go through, grab that. How do you position your MSP service in a competitive market without competing on price? Well, it's a good thing you asked that question, because that's 100% what we talk about in the membership. I'm not deflecting that answer, I promise. I just want to go over this. You can ask it questions. Can you find leads for my MSP, please? It'll answer that. And it's going to ask you a bunch of different questions: where you service, the radius that you want to go, the type of customer that you're looking for. It cross references information. So it's trying to get you the most accurate information, whether that's the people in charge, the phone number to reach out to, the emails that are available on the internet. I'm constantly updating it. I actually built this the entire day yesterday and neglected to make the webinar. Thank God for Brandon helping me with the webinar. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but hey, we built it out. Hopefully I did a great job, and you can use this ChatGPT to go get leads yourself. Hey, you're most welcome.
Wonderful.
Steve.
I just popped the survey in the chat just in case anyone is dying to do that. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Don't forget, do the survey. Chance to win $250. Amazon gift card. Next drawing is October 1st. Have a great rest of your day. And don't forget to join next week, Tuesday, noon, AI powered payments. Our CEO Baxter is going to teach you more about it. Take
Heck
care,
yeah.
everybody.